the Intuitive Websites Internet Marketing Podcast, bringing you the country's top podcast on the subject of internet marketing. I'm your host, Glenn Thayer, and today we'll discuss email marketing. I'm here with the CEO of Intuitive Websites, Thomas Young, and Internet Marketing Specialist, Dennis McCarthy. How you doing, guys?
Hey, Glenn.
Doing good.
Well, let's talk about email marketing. Where should we start?
Well, as we start a lot of these podcasts, I think the most important thing to ask is, why are we even doing email marketing? What is the objective? And then based on that objective, then what strategy, what approach are you going to take to make that objective reality, make it happen? And a few examples might be that you do email marketing with the objective of increasing traffic to your website, which then again ties into why you have a website and what you hope to accomplish there. You might also do email marketing to get direct conversions. And those are two very different goals, conversions such as lead generation or direct sales from e-commerce on your site. You can also look at doing email marketing to grow your email database, to stay in touch with more people, to use it as PR or announcements or news announcements or for information or newsletter type information that keeps people up to date in your industry. So there's a lot of different reasons to do email marketing, and the thing that is not an objective is just to do something and just get it out there. So I think the first step then is to figure out why are we doing email marketing? What do we expect the results to be? And then what's our strategy behind getting emails out?
Well, I know anytime that I hear about email marketing, I think spam. I think, no, somebody goes, I'm starting an email marketing campaign. What that says to me is that somebody's going to get a lot of stuff they don't need in their inbox.
That's true, and spam is a major problem. In fact, it may at some point threaten email itself. What seems to work for sure on email is if you know someone's going to send you an email, you've been able to talk back and forth before, then it'll probably work. But anything else that you do in email marketing has a chance of being caught up in spam filters or being lost. So it's real important to have an idea of how your emails get sent out, where they're going, and how the traffic is going to flow through all the different filters and through the different servers that are out there.
Now, would you think that talking about spam and going back to that, would it be fair to say that probably most of the people online are fairly savvy when it comes to what's spam and what's not? Like a prime example is a big thing that comes into my inbox a lot is those things talking about stocks. Here's a new hot stock.
Yeah, that's one of the most popular sets of emails that are going out right now. The thing about email in general or email marketing is that if people want to subscribe to your email newsletter, they will. They'll figure out how to do that, based on the filters they need to go through on their own email provider. Now, the key thing with this podcast, and one of the most important points we want our listeners to remember, is that important emails will get through, and important emails will get read and get saved and get sent on to others. Emails that aren't important fall down the chain pretty quick and are deleted immediately if they're not filtered out. So the key thing then is how do you make your email important in dealing with spam?
Well, here I guess another question would be, how would you title it appropriately? I know some of us have major issues with spam and do get hundreds of spam emails a day. And we can't filter all of that spam because we may be losing leads or customers or clients that are trying to communicate with us or even prospects. How do we decipher that for those people? How do we title it? Should we title it something that's different or unique?
I can tell you what not to use. Don't use exclamation points. Don't use capital letters. Avoid things like Viagra, of course. Anything that looks like spam is going to get spam filtered.
Absolutely, and we'll talk a little bit more about the content of your email in a little bit, but the key thing is that it's got to be of value, okay? And it really ties in also to your list, because your list also has to be of value. In fact, when you think about it, the problem with spam email is the list, because actually people do buy the stuff that gets sold on these spam emails. As crazy as we think some of those emails are that we see, someone's buying that stuff. Either they're buying it from that direct email or from the company that sent out that set of emails. So, if they just narrowed their list down to the people that really wanted that stuff, we wouldn't have that issue.
But spammers look at it like if they have a 0.5% success rate, that's great for them because they're sending out millions of emails.
Well, and they also look at another part of this too, which is harvesting emails. And there's a whole industry where they do nothing but just gather email addresses. And then what they do then is check the validity of those email addresses, and then they sell them. So really, I mean, that's just ridiculous marketing. And it's in a lot of ways, it's offensive to people to market that way. Something is going to change, hopefully, in the industry to where if you're doing that and you're just harvesting emails and sending emails out and selling the list, it's got to be stopped. That can't continue. It's going to clog up the internet.
You know, you were talking about good content, Tom. I think it's just like your website. If your website has great content that's aligned to your customers' needs, you're going to have an effective, successful website, and email's got the exact same principles.
And it all ties in together, because then that customer that finds value on your website will find value in your emails and will subscribe, and will make sure that you clear through the spam filters, and it makes it worthwhile for them. It could be as simple as, it's their favorite brand. It's a favorite brand, and your website has a very strong brand, and people want that 10% coupon that they get from the email when it comes out. Well, they'll make sure that they get that. They want the 10% off.
Okay. Well, how do you go out? We talked about the list and really narrowing down the list. So how does one go about building an effective list?
Well, I think that it's important to realize, whether you have an established email program or you're starting one from scratch, that you go out and harvest all of the emails that you have within your company that are key customer contacts or key network contacts, and put them into one central location. This then becomes the beginning of your quality email list. These are people that have done business with you, that know you, that you've referred business to, back and forth, whatever the case might be. Take a look at those emails as much as possible. Segment them by type of customer, if necessary. And this is where you begin the process. Now, I recommend that it's fine to send an initial email out to these people. And a lot of companies listening to this podcast, they probably don't have an email program or a newsletter program. They might have done an email occasionally or done something off the cuff, but to have a formal program, start with the list that you have on hand. Email to them once, and make it very easy for them to unsubscribe. And you'll find that the majority of your customers will stay on board and continue to subscribe. And probably, 5 to 5% will probably unsubscribe. And that's fine, because for whatever reason they don't want email.
And 1% will send an angry retort.
Yeah, you
Why have you done this?
And the important thing too is to not let that 1% stop you dead in your tracks, which is a lot of companies do that. They get one or two angry emails, and they realize they had 9,000 happy email customers. So start there, and also don't be afraid to start small, because you could have a dozen people on your email list. That's the starting point. Little by little, that will grow over time, especially if you've got value-added content.
Now, when you talk about segmenting, you'd mentioned take your database and go to your key customers, your main people. Would it make sense to go through the database and send maybe an initial email out to everyone, people who no longer do business with you, people you've been trying to get business from? Because obviously people who have no interest in your product or what you do, and they happen to be in your database, they're going to send you an unsubscribe. They're going to say, "Hey, don't send me this crap anymore. Just leave me alone."
No, I think that's a good approach, and especially with in beginning an email program, I think that's a great approach. The key thing, and we'll talk about this some more later, is to have an automated process in place so that unsubscribes can happen automatically. It's not something that you have to have someone in your office take care of. They just unsubscribe on their own. And the other thing to building an email list, which is, it seems obvious, but it's really not done as well on sites as it could be, is make it easy for people to subscribe on your website. Put your email subscribe box in the upper left-hand corner. Put it next to any valuable content. Make sure that it is on your most popular pages, and make it easy for people to subscribe right off your website.
I think that's a really important point, Tom. Your website's success and your website's ability to generate leads will be based on different ways that you have of creating a relationship with the people who visit your website. And an email newsletter is a very low-risk, low-level way to begin a relationship with a visitor to your site.
Oh, and it's so cost-effective. And for us who've been in marketing for 20 plus years, we remember the days of direct mail, and the cost and the printing and and all the letters that would come back because people had changed their addresses. I mean, it's just so cost-effective to do this via email.
The Friday night label parties.
No, I mean, looking at it from another standpoint, you mentioned putting it on your website so people can subscribe online. How much of a difference does it make to offer a premium for signing up? Because I know for me personally, going to all these different sites, I'm not going to go, well, let's subscribe to this newsletter and this newsletter. I mean, I got enough stuff to read in my email inbox.
Well, the best premium you can have is that your content is so valuable people want it. Now, if you're an e-commerce website, and you're selling leather wallets or whatever you might be selling, then yeah, I think coupons and first-time offers, or sign up for our email and get a 10% coupon. I think that's all good stuff. Now,
Special
the key
offers, things like that. I do that with my with travel sites.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
with the airlines, they'll say, hey, if you sign up, we'll send you all these new deals. And
Yeah,
I found some great things on it.
and you grow your list, and you can hopefully get some more sales. The downside of that is that sometimes you can get cluttered with people that aren't going to be the best qualified customer for your business. But the most important thing, and we're going to talk about this as well, is you can track what these people do. So if you're using an email program effectively, you should know who's requested the coupon, and you should be able to watch their buying patterns. So you can see, hey, is it worth it for us to do a 10% coupon? Because these people come in, they buy once, and then they unsubscribe. You can look at all that stuff. But it's also important. Most companies, in fact, just about any company out there, is going to have a lot of touch points with customers. And one important thing is that through all those touch points, whether it's a salesperson or a customer service or a warranty, whatever it might be, collect email addresses and bring those email addresses into your general subscribe program. And then make it easy for your emails to be sent to other people. And in fact, encourage that. I know one of the things that we see a lot on email is friends sending funny photographs or jokes or little audio clips from YouTube and things like that. And it's all word of mouth that's spread around because they see something that's cool.
So make sure they have something that says, hey, forward this to a friend. And they
Forward
can
this
click
to your
it,
friend.
Opens it up. Maybe it's a dynamic email that's got HTML coding in it that it opens a new email box. And
It's
they
very
send it off.
very easy to forward it. And of course, like I said, the content should be so good that people want to send it on to people.
So what do we've got as far as what other ways can companies get email addresses besides the obvious on people signing up on the website, buying a list? What other ways would you suggest that people go in to get those email addresses
Well,
to their database?
we're not a big fan of buying outside email lists, and really because of the problem I spoke about earlier, where a lot of companies are strictly in business to harvest emails, and they make money based on the millions of emails that they have in their system. We really believe in creating your own database of emails and building it from scratch, and it does two really good things. Number one is it's going to increase the quality of the subscriber. And number two, it's going to really lower your unsubscribe rate because these are people that are actively involved with you in your business.
Here's a hot tip on gathering emails. You've got 10 employees who send out 100 emails per day. The value of the signature at the bottom of their email is really underestimated. To put the announcement for your newsletter on the bottom of every employee's email that goes out is thousands and thousands of eyeballs per week.
That's a good point.
So doing it as a tagline for your signature line, say subscribe to our newsletter here.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I guess the big question now is how does somebody write an email that will actually be read and the subscribers will take action on?
Well, you've got to look back at your business and what your business offering is, and why do customers buy from you? And maybe even ask a few customers, why do you buy from us? What they tell you should then be communicated in emails because that is the value you're bringing to the marketplace. And that's what people will, that's the content that people will read and hang on to and pass on to others. Can't say enough about targeted content in emails and really avoiding the sales advertising type speak. That will get just deleted as quickly as possible.
Absolutely.
But the value-added information is going to work real well. Let me give you an example of value-added content on an email. We work with a company that does high-quality gourmet food and sauces and things like that. And they know that their customers are really into recipes and using their products in recipes. And so we sent out an email that said, no hassle Labor Day recipes for your grilling. And not only did the email have a great response rate on just people opening and looking at it, they also bought product. Because what do people want? They don't want hassles. They want to eat great food with less hassle. And so that was a hot button. That was a hook. That was value-added content that led to a successful email. Another example would be, let's say, a local home builder that builds quality homes. Well, they could send an email out that just says, hey, we build great homes, more or less. This is how long we've been in business. We build a great home. But why not send an email out that specifically addresses why their home is great, how they do the cornering on their home, what kind of paint they use on the interior, how they manufacture the wood and the trusses and so forth in building this home. That's the kind of content that people on the internet will get their arms around and will read and then click through to the website for more information.
So really put the benefits of doing business as opposed to, here's the features of our company, here's what we offer. It's what's the benefit to the consumer? Because
Right,
obviously
absolutely.
the consumer is going to think to everything, why do I care?
I think the bottom line is that what's fascinating about this stuff that you sell or you do, and that's really the reason your customers engaged with you in the first place. And every company has one or two guys and gals that will talk your ear off about the intricacies of the print business, or people who are really enthusiastic about it. That's the kind of content you want to get out there.
Just as a general rule of thumb, think of it this way. There needs to be a hook. There needs to be something that drives people into this email or brings them into your website. There needs to be helpful information that can save them time, save them money, can help them do their job better, that can enhance the quality of their life,
Enhance their expertise.
All of those things, those areas have to be addressed in this email, and that's really the step to having content that will get acted upon and will be read.
So now, how is that different from a newsletter per se? Because obviously, when most people think email marketing, they think newsletters that go out either daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly.
I would put a newsletter in the category of help you do your job better, enhance the quality of your life. We do a newsletter in Intuitive Websites, and we just had one go out this week, and the subject is the top 10 things you need to know about web marketing. And so we wrote an article that gives web marketers 10 really clear ideas on marketing their website.
And that's a good trick. People love lists, numbered lists.
Numbered lists, it's easy to grasp. It's easy to say, okay, number one, number two, go down the list. And, so the newsletter then, like if you were a hospital, for example, and you might do a newsletter on different cancer treatments or whatever, that's helping people out by giving them information. And it's also supporting your brand. But, the last thing you want to do is send out an email that just basically says how great you are.
Well, gentlemen, we've run out of time. For all you listeners out there, be sure to join us for part 2 of Effective Email Marketing. Remember, this has been an Intuitive Websites Internet Marketing Podcast. And for more information and to see all the available podcasts and much more, visit intuitivewebsites.com.